I'm pleased, of course, but I'm also relieved. I mean, these projects are inevitably much more complex than you believe when you set out with them. And enormous amount of credit to everybody involved in this. I mean, the architects who have taken this very fine building and used it very creatively while keeping the essential features of the building and being respectful of how important it is to the building, but also the incredibly creative people from our own museums department and those with whom they've worked who have done such a wonderful job to use the very best of modern techniques to tell this ancient history of Richard and to tell it in a way that I think will be very informative but also very entertaining for people who want to come here of all ages.
God help his enemies. The Earl of Warwick has schooled him well in the arts of war.
It's a brand new centre. We're a little bit unsure as to what the reaction will be exactly, but we are expecting to be busy. Certainly in the first year we're looking for just over 100,000 visitors. In subsequent years the challenge will be to maintain the visitor numbers and maintain the interest, but certainly the first year will be busy.
This is the final part of the exhibition. We've tried to deliberately design this space where it's a calmer space away from the main attractions. You can see that we've used natural materials that have been sourced locally. The whole design of the new build has been replicated on the chapel, so this particular space would have been the choir to the chapel. You can see that everything draws down towards the final resting place of the king, and the choirs either side is where the monks would have sat.
I've travelled from Blackpool in Lancashire. I think the centre is fantastic. I think the way they've laid it out, the interpretation and feel about the place, it feels important, the visual displays, the interactive elements.
I came from Holland to see your English history, but this is very, this was the, in Holland we say the top of the cake. This was the most interesting thing still so far, yeah.
Well, I came all the way from Cambridge and I think the centre's fantastic. It's really interesting and really interesting Richard III. Love the stuff about the War of the Roses and I think it's a really good exhibition.
I think it's really good and very interesting. I read in Spain that they found this king, parking, and that was very curious. And it's very interesting. I really like it.
And the standards are kept in check. Nothing will disturb us.
I think it's absolutely marvellous. Really wonderful. This is obviously the first time I've been, and I'm surprised that it's as lovely as it is, and very well laid out, I feel. So the story begins at the beginning with the films, which are in the archways, and just tells us the whole life. So you really don't need to know anything about Richard III when you arrive here. The story is revealed to you. I'm very impressed with it. I'm very pleased I've come.
I think it's brilliant. I think the level of technology and interaction is fantastic. I've really enjoyed doing it. I'm going to have to tell my nephew and nieces about it and get everyone to come.
It's pretty good, the way how they've made it. Yeah, I think it's brilliant.
I loved all the artwork that's downstairs as well. The detail in that is wonderful. But I don't think you can really pick out one thing. I think, from what we've seen so far, it's all laid out really nicely and there's something for everyone.